Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, YouTube. Troy West here. You're watching the Solid Sports and Gaming channel. This is the Solid Sports Video Blog, episode 274. Today's date is October 3rd, 2024. Thank you for joining me this morning. Sorry about the lateness. Actually, about over an hour late. I pushed it back to 11 and still got on a little late, so I apologize. Had to, first of all, got up, had a rough morning, got up kind of late, had to get myself together, get something to eat. Then I was going to plan. It's a porch that I stay where I stay. It's a nice little porch I usually record my shows on. But we got a yellow jacket hive, a beehive out there, and the bees are going crazy. So I didn't want to be out there having to fight off no bees. So I tried to set it up inside, but I had bad lighting in here. So apologize for that. Sorry for being late today, but I'm glad I'm here with you guys. Thank you so much for watching 274 Solid Sports Video Blog. Thank you for joining me. We got a big show today. A lot to talk about today. Major League Baseball playoffs have started. As we're now in the wild card round. There's only one series to go in the wild card round. All the rest of the teams that advanced. Royals swept the Baltimore Orioles yesterday. We'll talk about that. Padres did the same to my Atlanta Braves, so both of my teams are out. If you want to say I got two teams, they both gone. San Diego will go to the division rival, the LA Dodgers, and play them in the divisional round. And the Houston Astros will not make it to the ALCS for the first time in 7 years, as the Detroit Tigers finish off the sweep of them. So they will go and play their division rival, the Cleveland Indians. So 3 AL Central teams still left in the playoffs in the American League. And Milwaukee stayed off of elimination by defeating the New York Mets 5-3 last night. So they have a winner take all game 3. Winner will go and play the who else left in the National League? The Philadelphia Phillies, excuse me, in the division round. So that's where we at with baseball. We're gonna talk more about that. NBA today. We're gonna talk about the West B bracket. In the in-season tournament, we're not going to necessarily talk about the in-season tournament, but I'm breaking down every team by groups. So that's the group we're going to focus on today. And of course, week 5 of the NFL is coming. Starts tonight. Who's I think? I want to say Atlanta's at home against Tampa Bay. NFC South, big game in the NFC South. So a big game tonight to start off week 5. I'll get my predictions on that. Then we'll look ahead to the rest of the week 5 schedule. Certain teams are on bye this week. I have to look that up and write that down. But yes, bye week start. So we'll talk about that. And of course, a lot of 2 sports legends lost their lives this week, but both on Monday. Pete Rose of the longtime Cincinnati Reds Hall of Famer. Well, he's not a Hall of Famer, excuse me, but he should be. Maybe that's why I said it like that. All-time hits leader. He lost his life on Monday. Also, Dikemde Mutombo, NBA center. He is a Hall of Famer. He died this week as well on Monday with brain cancer. So we'll talk both about them as well. We're going to talk about probably Pete Rose first because I'm talking about baseball first. But thank you guys for joining me once again this morning. Sorry about the lateness. We're going to get on into the show now. So we'll start with the MLB playoffs. I guess I'm going to get my fandom out the way first. We'll talk about the Orioles first. Just another disappointment into the season after a great season. Get swept at home. Once again, I think they got 10 straight postseason losses if you go back to the other postseason games they've been in, but they lost 10 straight, which is not good. So the O's lose again. The Royals got us the ALCS last time we was in the ALCS as well. So Royals does this again, winning 2-1. They won 1-0 in game 1. So Orioles could never put together no runs. So that's what got him. Other than the pitcher, you thought the pitcher would be a problem, but it's the runs. They couldn't score any runs. So the Royals will face the New York Yankees in the divisional series, starting probably Saturday, I believe. Um, my Braves lost as well, 5-4. Um, like I said, they was up and down all year, a lot of injuries. So had the Orioles. Orioles had a lot of injuries as well. Not to make no excuses, but um, Padres just was been hot. The Padres and the Detroit Tigers, we're gonna talk about them in a second. Probably the two hottest teams right now, other than the Mets, even though the Mets just lost. But um, yeah, those two teams are playing well. So I think as far as teams that's playing in this round that could make it all the way, I think those two teams could do it. Um, because the Tigers finished off the Astros, swept them 2 games to none. 5-2 was the final in game two um, yesterday afternoon. Um, the Tigers just playing small ball. Like I said, I think they had what 5 or 6 relievers. They pretty much pitched the game. Was really no starter. It was a start. Somebody started the game, but I think they only pitched the first inning. Um, Astros made it interesting. Took a 2-1 lead, and then they just imploded in the eighth. I actually watched most of this game. Detroit, they're a dangerous team, and then they get Cleveland, a division um, rival. So I think that series could go either way. Um, and the Brewers, like I said, beat the Mets 5-3 yesterday, so their series is tied. So game three is tonight at 7 o'clock, and the winner will go face the Philadelphia Phillies. Um, Milwaukee, like I said, Milwaukee's been a surprise. Also, well, I don't want to say surprise, but just a team that's been steady all season. Mets, like I said, is playing good baseball as well, even though they lost this game. Pretty much was dead in the water about a month or so ago. Climbed out of it, got a wild card spot, and is fighting to move on to the next round. So that's the final game to set the pieces for the National League Division Series. But the American League is set to be the Royals and the Yankees, Tigers, and Cleveland Guardians. Then the winner will face each other in the ALCS. Um, Padres go to LA to face the Dodgers. That should be a very interesting series. They just played, I think, last weekend. Dodgers um, get the rest though, so Padres not afraid of them. So that's going to be a good series. And whoever wins between the Brewers and the Mets tonight, like I said, go to Philadelphia and face the Phillies for the first 2 games in the NLDS as well. The winners of those two series will face in the NLCS. Um, I guess, like I said, I'm gonna try to predict that the Brewers and Mets ain't played yet. Well, for tonight's game, I don't know. I think it's a coin flip, but I'm gonna go with. I'm just giving Milwaukee the benefit of the doubt for getting this far. I think the Mets fought hard, but I think Milwaukee will find a way to get it done. So I think it'll be Milwaukee and Philadelphia. And really, that don't matter because I think the NLCS, I'm staying in the National League now since I'm talking about it. I think it'll be the Phillies and the LA Dodgers in the NLCS. I think the Padres going to push the Dodgers though. They might go 5 games. I think Philadelphia, no matter who gets through or win, I would say at 4. Um, um, then I don't know. I mean, I'm probably gonna sound like I'm just going chalk in baseball. You can never go chalk, but I just don't see. I'm just gonna go in and cut to the World Series. I don't see the Yankees losing, and I don't see the Dodgers losing. I just think they're gonna find a way to get it done. I think we're gonna get that series everybody been waiting for years. Dodgers and um, Yankees. Two VPs meeting in the World Series because Otani's going to win it in the National League and Judge is going to win it in the American League. It should be might be unanimous both sides for both guys. Um, Especially, yeah, I feel more confident that the Yankees going to do it. I just think the Royals, they're a good team, but you see what happened in this series. They got a master chef around. I think the Yankees, you might hold them down for a while. I think eventually they bats will come alive. And I think that'd be enough to beat the Royals. I think they beat them in 4 games though. And then Actually, I'm really starting to like this Tigers team. Um, I think I think Game One's going to tell a lot. Um, but I can see the Tigers doing it, but I'm gonna just go with Cleveland because I just think they're a little bit deeper. But I think the Yankees will beat Cleveland and they get to the World Series. And I think, like I said, LA will beat Philly, and it'll be LA and the Yankees. And I think the Yankees will win the whole thing. And it hurts me to say because I don't like the Yankees for a lot of reasons. But uh, I just think I don't know. I just sometimes you just get a feel, and I just think how their year went and everything else. I just think they primed and finally make a run and win this thing. So I'm gonna go with the Yankees to win the whole thing over the Dodgers. I think that's how it's gonna turn out. We'll get updates by next week. We'll be in the middle of the division series, so we'll see how they shake out there. But I think, like I said, I think the Brewers gonna win tonight. Go to Philadelphia. I think Philly will beat them. I think LA will beat the Padres. I think the Yankees will beat the Royals. I think the Guardians. In a long series of time, I think that might go 5 games as well. And but I think Cleveland will get it done. And then I think the Yankees will beat them in 6. Um, and I think the Dodgers will beat the Phillies in 6 games. And then World Series Yankees in 6 over the Dodgers. That's what I'm gonna stick with on my predictions. I forgot who I picked beginning of the season. Um, I have to go back and look. I don't even remember. I think I probably picked my home teams, the Braves and the Orioles. I don't know. I don't think I did, but I might have. And knowing me, I might have did that. So I would have to go back and look, check that out. Um, I should have it in this book, but that's something we could talk about next week. We'll see um, who I picked at the beginning of the season to get there. I know. Uh, I just know I'm not right. I know the teams that I picked either already eliminated or they didn't make the playoffs at all. So, but that's all baseball. But like I said, since we talk about baseball, I'm gonna touch on Pete Rose. Uh, um, well, he was older. The Jimmy Mutombo death was a little bit more. I don't want to say shocking because people said he was sick, but um, Pete Rose was 83, so not as shocking. Maybe I think they still ain't really officially named. Pronounced how he passed yet. Um, but just a sad story of as far as his baseball life. Um, was known as Charlie Hustle. Now Pete Rose was a little bit before my time. I didn't really start watching baseball to the '90s. He was already retired. He got banned from baseball for gambling, of course, as everybody know, in 1989. So I really just heard stories about Pete Rose, seen a few highlights or old videos and stuff like that, but never actually watched him play. But all time his leader over 4,000 hits. I think it's 41-32, if I remember correctly. Um, won a World Series, I think, with Cincinnati. In the '70s, the Big Red Machine, of course. Those historic teams in that time. Um, but my only visions of Pete Rose. I remember it was a 1999 All Star game, and it was some type of anniversary or some type of they celebrated 75 years or something in baseball. It was a celebration, and even though he was banned, they let him come on the field, and the crowd was just so happy, and you just felt the vibe. And that's how my dad started sort of telling me the stories about him and things of that nature. Um, but I guess the question everybody is, and I've said this for years. They're gonna wait till he pass away to put him in the Hall of Fame, and I think that's what's gonna happen eventually. I think they're gonna try to wait to make it seem like that's not the case. Um, but I think he should have been. I think okay, I guess you can still ban him from events and whatever and all that, but what he did on the field can't be taken away, even by him gambling or whatever. And I understand because you want to keep the integrity of your sport. Always, we never want to compromise that in any circumstance. So I'm not arguing the ban really too much, even though I think he should have just been banned maybe 20 years or so or whatever. You know, I think he should have been banned. But the Hall of Fame should have never been taken off the table at all. And unfortunately, like I said, I think now probably not this year. I think they're gonna let this year go by to try to make the narrative seem like that's not what they're doing. But I say by 26 or 27, he will be in the Hall of Fame, um, which would be sad. He should have saw that when he was alive. He was one of the best baseball players ever. Um, and that's unfortunate. Yeah, that he lost his life, but for this to happen, I think baseball. This is a black eye, which they got a couple of them. Um, this is one that I don't like. So, um, condolences to the Pete Rose family. They say his family was there with him when he passed, so that's always a good thing. Um, and we'll see how this develops, but I think that's what's going to wind up happening. I think they're gonna wind up putting him in, maybe by next year or so. Definitely before 2030, he'll be in there for sure. I'd be surprised if he don't get in by then. Then yeah, they're just not gonna put the man in there. But I just think I already can feel the vibes that that's what they're gonna do. So, but it's unfortunate for Mr. Rose that he has to wait till he passed on to get the Hall of Fame. Should have been in the Hall of Fame, um, no question. So that's how I feel about the Pete Rose passing, and like I said, condolences to his family. Baseball definitely lost a legend. Um, I know the Reds going to do something for him next season, all season long. But like I said, I think he's going to get in within the next 2 years. He'll be in the Hall of Fame. So, um, all right. So that's our baseball for today. Like I said, it's the playoffs. So like I said, next week, um, I work next week, but I might still probably do a Thursday show, probably late afternoon. Um, since I work Thursday, so Thursdays will probably be my target date, and then Mondays will be for, of course, the Monday football hangover. Um, so join me next Thursday right here, it's episode 275. Like I said, baseball playoffs will be in full swing. NBA will be closer, and we'll be talking about Week 6 by then. So, all right. Speaking of the NBA, let's get into that. Not like I said. Everybody's in training camp, media day, and all that. I don't really want to talk about all that. Uh, I'm just gonna focus on the 5 teams I got down here. The West B bracket. I'm just gonna focus on them 5 teams. But yeah, media day. It's been media day, so people talk to the media. Kawhi Leonard made some news, a little bit. Well, I won't say news, but had a little buzz. Um, Basically, he's still injured, so we'll see if he's ready for the regular season. Of course, LeBron, he's always going to get headlines no matter what he says. So all that same stuff is going on. So that's why I'm just going to leave that alone. I'm just going to focus on these 5 teams. So the West B um, group for this year, the OKC Thunder, the Phoenix Suns, the LA Lakers, the the Utah Jazz, excuse me, and the San Antonio Spurs. So this is an interesting group. Of course, OKC was the #1 seed in the West last year. Phoenix with Durant, Bill, and Devin Booker. Hopefully, they can bounce back. Lakers, of course, speaks for itself. LeBron, AD. Utah, interesting team. Young team. We'll see what they do this year. And the San Antonio Spurs got some buzz with Chris Paul now joining them. Veteran leadership with Wemby. You expect them to be better this year. So, but let's start with OKC because they're the first team on my list. Like I said, great year last year. Excuse me, let me turn around and get my drink. Sorry about this lighting. This is another thing I had to deal with before I got on. Made me a little late. Um, the Thunder. Last year, like I said, was the 1 seed. Um, Shagorius Alexander. Always a tough twist to say his name. Chet Holmgren. He should be better this year. They did trade Josh Giddey away. Where did he get traded to? They skipped some out, but I know he's gone. Um, I just think, like I said, I just think they need some veterans to go with Thorpe, um, Williams there. So they got a nice little young deep squad. Expect to be better this year. Um, Hopefully the experience they got last year helps them this season. They're gonna be a top three, a top five, top three team again this year. The 1 seed, like I said, the West is so wide open. I don't know if they get the 1 seed again, but I think they'd be in that top tier in the Western Conference. Lost they stay healthy. Um, like I said, they kind of remind me of the baseball records for the Orioles. Young team. Even though the Orioles didn't win no playoff games, the other day actually get to the West semis. But you just gotta let the team grow. You gotta be patient. Let the team grow. Um, the Thunder has been known to do that throughout the years. I think this is another situation when they do that, and I think they'll be another contender next year again. But we'll see. Like I said, some teams got a little bit better, so we'll see. Um, Minnesota just made that trade for Karl Anthony Towns, which I forgot to talk about. So I'm gonna touch on that a little bit after we go through these 5 teams. How I feel about that trade, but um, the Thunder, yeah, they just gotta stay patient, which they know how to do, and they'll be right there, compete for the Western Conference again. So we'll see about that team this year. Phoenix Suns. Phoenix Suns, an interesting team. Um, Kevin Durant, of course, it's Kevin Durant, but he is getting a little older. Devin Booker. I think. I guess I can say I changed my mind about him playing point guard. I think they need to get a point guard. Let him play shooting guard. I think it's too much on him. Yeah, some nights it'll work, but I think to do it every night, I don't think that's good for Phoenix. I think they need to get a point guard. And Bill got to stay healthy. He hasn't really been healthy in years, so he got to stay healthy for the entirety of the year. But Phoenix always going to have a chance because of Durant and the guys that they have. But like last year, Minnesota just pretty much just out physical them. So they got to get tougher there. Um, got to get bigger as well, as far as big men and stuff like that. So we'll see what they do more with the roster. Um, but Phoenix, they're gonna be right there. They're gonna be in the playoffs. Not sure where they could be a playing team. Could be in the top 6 again, like they was last year. They just got that range of as what you say, if you want to say stealing the floor. They just always have a chance with the guys that they got because any of them can drop 30 on you without even rolling over. So the Suns still will have a chance, but that's gonna be an interesting team to watch this year as well. L.A. Lakers. L.A. Lakers. Yeah, I mean they always in the news. They like the Cowboys in football. It's always got to talk about them no matter what. Um, Mostly because it's LeBron being there now. Well, he's been there for years, but if LeBron wasn't there, the Lakers would still probably be talked about a little bit. Um, LeBron turned 40 in December. Had a good Olympics. Look like he's still not slowing down. I'm not going to really touch on. I just want to bring it up to see if anybody else thinks so. Do y'all think LeBron is taking PEDs? I'm not sure. I don't. I always the one that don't want to believe something. But just I wouldn't even want to use the word evidence, but everything's I wouldn't be surprised. I would put it that way. I wouldn't be surprised if it came out that he did, and it wouldn't change my opinion on that much. But I just it's just things being said. So, but I'm not going to really get into all that because I don't know. And even though things may seem like that's true or not. I'm just going to leave that alone. Um, and then the Jordan debate always come up every 5 minutes. Like I said, that's still Jordan over LeBron. I don't think it's nothing LeBron could do for the rest of his career, even if he win another title. That he's going to pass Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan to me. But like I said, it's a generational question as well, which I always say that people that's probably 20, that's in their 20s, they probably would say LeBron because you never really seen Mike. So, but the that Last Dance documentary did change some people's minds. At least that's what they say it did. Change some younger people's minds once they saw that. Um, but I actually saw Michael Jordan play. And LeBron, like I said, LeBron is number two all time to me. Like I said, I say my top five again. It was Jordan, LeBron, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, like I said, which is starting to end up be crying because people get, people that actually saw him is getting old, and but he should be considered as a top player. He was the best. When he retired, he was the best, for sure. But that was back in what 89, 90 when he retired. So, um, but everything he done, um, there's the top three easily. I think from four on down, you can argue a lot of people. I got Magic, and then I got Kobe. I got Magic four, I got Kobe five. I got Tim Duncan six. I can't remember who I got seven, eight, nine. I know Shaq is 10th on my list. I got Larry Bird. I think Larry Bird is right after Tim Duncan. So I got that's my list. I mean, I know it's on my Instagram somewhere, but now Steph, like I said, Steph is going to crack that top 10. I might have to drop Shaq, even though I love Shaq, but Shaq in his prime, Shaq was probably the greatest big man ever. But you got to count the times when he got out of his prime too. So, um, but Shaq was something else when he was on. So, but I don't want to get off topic because we talk about the Lakers. But the Bronny James thing, that's going to be in the news all year long. Um, is he going to make the main roster? Will he play in the D League first? He's practicing with the main team right now. It is training camp, so I think all the players are there. The D League players, I think everybody mixed in there. He didn't play well in the summer league. Um, so we're going to see how that develops. That's going to be news all year long. If he make the roster, it's going to, I don't want to say it's going to be a distraction for the team, but it's definitely going to be a distraction. It's going to be talked about every day. So um, that's why I'm thinking they might not have him on the main roster to start the season. But we'll see about that. But as far as the Lakers as a team, what their expectations are this year, they just like the Phoenix Suns. You got Anthony Davis, you got LeBron James. You have a shot um, at being a top team in the West, maybe even a title. But um, well, last year wasn't even injuries because Anthony Davis was healthy. It's the healthiest he's been in years. LeBron was there most of the year, so that was the Lakers, but they only finished seventh because of the play-in. Then lost to the Denver Nuggets once again in 5 games. So um, I just think they role players have to be more sharp. They was consistent at times, but then inconsistent. They had a few injuries with Vanderbilt and um, Hachimura was hurt, so they had guys that could contribute that got hurt as well, other than LeBron and AD. So Lakers, so they like I said, they got a high ceiling, but um, can they reach it? That's going to be the issue. So Lakers, like I said, they'll be talked about all year, regardless of how they go, bad or good. So you'll be hearing more of the Lakers, not even just for me. So, but they got a high ceiling. They could be in the top six of the West, or they could be out the playoffs. Like that's where their range is. And I think Phoenix same thing. So, all right, the Utah Jazz. Utah Jazz, um, sort of in that no man's land. They're not a horrible team, but they're not a great team either. Um, Marketing, I'm glad they signed him to a long deal. I think that was smart. Um, they just gotta just keep building. I think I like what they're doing to stay afloat. Of course, they missed the play in last year, sort of faded at the end. But this team, like I said, it's just because they're in the West. If they was in the East, they'd probably be in the top six, the top, playing team for sure. But this Western Conference is so deep and strong. I think that's what they suffer from, just like a lot of other teams on that lower tier. Um, but like I said, they're a fun team to watch. I watched a few of their games last year. Um, I think Jazz fans shouldn't feel so bad. They just gotta get lucky. I don't want to say lucky, but just keep building. Just keep building. You never know. Other teams might change and fall apart. So um, Utah, like I said, it's gonna be hard for them to make the playoffs again, but they're definitely capable of at least competing for a play-in. And last but not least, the San Antonio Spurs. Of course, the Spurs. So the dynasty ended. Tim Duncan retired, and Manu and all them retired. So they've been down for a couple years. Get the first pick, get Wembanyama, who had a promising rookie season. Didn't win a lot of games, but had a promising rookie season. They had a high draft pick again. They had the veteran Chris Paul, which I think was smart. Um, I gotta feel this might be Chris Paul's last year in the NBA. I think it depends how it goes, but I'm thinking he's more closer to retiring. Of course, I mean, not just because of his age. I just think, I think he started to see the writing on the wall. A very underrated player. Um, and I think just because he's dead, the Spurs will be better. Um, so it's going to be interesting. Yeah, I think, fans and other people want to see improvement. They want to see this team at least compete for a play-in. I don't think they have to be, but this team's got to be better than they was last year. Maybe be in the at least 30 to 40 game range, um, winning. So if you do that, the Spurs will be fine. I think. But Wemby, he a special player. Like I say, you see how he played at the Olympics as well. Was very emotional. They lost to the U.S. in the final. France did. He was very emotional about it. So of course, he feel like he can compete with anybody. Um, Got to get a little stronger, of course. A little slim, but gotta get a little stronger. But I like his game. I like to see him play. Spurs should be an interesting team also. And this is going to be a crazy group. Once you get to the play-in, this is going to be a battle of a group. OKC, of course, will probably be the favorite, but like I said, with Phoenix, well, the Lakers won it last year. So, like I said, in certain scenarios, you just got basically one or two games. You can, you know, probably win this tournament. So we'll see. They did defend the chest, so they going to get everybody best game this year. Um, but we'll see how that turns out. But these five teams are very interesting. Next week we'll do the East B bracket. And then, like I said, we're gonna go through all of them until the season over. Then, when we get closer to the season, of course, we'll have a predictions and preview show, which will be announced later on, as time go by. So, all right. Before we get into the Dikemde Mutombo, I forgot all about the Carly Towns trade. I didn't even write it down. I meant to. But I know most of it, gist of it, because basically the main players that were swapped, of course, he goes to the New York Knicks for Julius Randle. Dante DiVincenzo was in that deal as well. Um, I mean, like I said, I think this trade helps both teams in certain ways. I think for the Knicks, Cat is another, he can score. He scored 60 points in the game before, so he could score the basketball. But he sort of remind me of Embiid, which is he don't really play his back to the basket at all. Um, he's more of a spot up shooter or face you shooter. So, um, but he rebounds. He does stuff. I mean he's a star in this league with the Knicks need. Um, to go along with Jalen Brunson, I think that's a good pairing. I think the Knicks will still be competitive. OG come back. So the Knicks are going to be, like I said, one of the top teams in the East still. Minnesota, now I feel more trepidation for Minnesota because, I don't know, despite whatever you want to say about Cat, he was the face of the franchise. You still got Gobert, so you still got a little bit of size there. I think this was sort of for Ant-Man, because now Ant-Man would be the number one option for sure. Julius Randle, he's talented. He could bring you something to the table. He just I don't want to say streaky, but it just seems like when you need him to hit shots, he just can't sometimes. But still, you got that second guy there. So I think you got a legit pecking order. And let's see. I mean, I don't know if they lose anything defensively, but Minnesota backed on their defense. So as long as they still anchor to that, I think they'd be fine. I don't think they. I don't think. I think it helps both teams in certain ways. Um, but for me, Minnesota, I'm just worried about do your defense take a hit with this move, and they must really think Ant-Man about to take that next step to superstardom because other than that, I don't see why you make this deal. Um, and Cat, like I said, I think Cat needed a fresh start. You know, he went through a lot in Minnesota as well. So, but New York, he's close to home. So I don't think the New York bright lights up on him, but he gonna have pressure on him, you know, because the Knicks got some expectation this year. So we're gonna see if he can meet those. But it's just a trade. Sort of surprised to me. I didn't think this would happen, but um, we'll see. I think it's good for both teams though overall. But we'll see where both of these teams land as the season go on. Um, but yeah, Cat seemed like he's okay with it. He had an interview with Shannon Sharp on Club Shay Shay. You probably familiar with that. But this was before the trade. That's why I didn't really watch. But I might still check it out today because I got time. So I might check that interview out today. But yeah. But that was an interesting trade. Sort of out of nowhere. Usually all the trades happen in the summer. Um, so, uh, like I said, I think it helps both teams. I don't think it's a bad trade for either team. But I'm just seeing how the chemistry gonna go. And I think that's why you go ahead and make this trade during training camp so you can get that cohesiveness and togetherness before the season starts, so you won't get off to such a slow start to start the season. So okay, back to some sad news. As I mentioned at the top of the show, um, Hall of Fame center Dikembe Mutombo passed away on Monday due to his fight with brain cancer. Um, First, I'm gonna talk about the player. I mean, of course, I don't know the man personally, just heard stories. But he was actually one of my favorite players growing up, and probably my favorite moment for him is when the Denver Nuggets, the team that drafted him, the eighth seed, eighth seeds back in the '90s, it wasn't like it is now. You really have no shot at all if you're an eighth seed. I don't care what conference you in. Some of the times she was under 500. I think the Nuggets was 42-40 that year, going against the Seattle Supersonics. This is the first year after Michael Jordan retired, I believe. So Seattle had the best record in the NBA. It was finally their time to break through. Sean Kemp, Gary Payton, um, Defla Shrimp, and the rest of that veteran Sonics group. Of course, the Supersonics are now the OKC Thunder. Um, Dikembe, um, Mahmoud Maruf, who used to be Chris Jackson, was a cold player back then. Very underrated player. A lot of people think he got blacked out the league because of his religious beliefs, but that's another story for another day. Um, just that Denver team just was a gritty team. Just didn't quit. Beat the Sonics. It was only a best of five back then. Beat them in 5 games. Of course, the iconic moment when Kimbe got the final rebound as time ran out. He just squeezed the ball on the floor and yelled on the floor. That was a great moment. I saw that live as a kid. I was 11 years old, 10 years old, really. Yeah, 10 years old because I didn't turn 11 till later on that year. Um, but that was just one of the biggest sports moments I remember. And then just the famous finger wag he used to do at the blocks. He had 31 blocks in that series. That's a record for a 5 game series still today. Yeah, he wasn't coming in that paint. Yeah, he got. You can find highlights when he got ducked on. Vince Carter probably got him. I think Mike got him one time. So he got ducked on. But I mean, of course, that's going to happen. But he also has some iconic blocks as well. Played for the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks got better when they got him because they were sort of in. That was with the Steve Smith era, Mookie Blaylock. the Atlanta Hawks team. Then of course he was on that Philadelphia Finals team that played the Lakers in the finals. Of course, the Lakers was a powerhouse back then. Shaq and Kobe and the rest of that team. Um, they did win and they got game one, thanks to AI and Dikembe, even though but Shaq was too much for him in that series. Um, yeah, sort of bounced around after that, but then off the court, he's from the Republic of Congo. Of course, that's in Africa. He's built schools and hospitals over there. Um, they just said he was a fun guy to be around. Uh, just a good human being. But on that court, he was a monster. He was going to bring it with his defensive tenacity. He ain't even averaged over 10 points. He never was a scorer like that. But there's been times I see when he had to score that he did. Um, Definitely deserved to be in the Hall of Fame, four-time Defensive Player of the Year. To me, definitely one of the best defensive centers ever. Ben Wallace is up there for me as well. But sad news that he passed away, and he was a lot younger. He was 58 years old, so just always a little sadder when you're younger. Um, and then a brain cancer, which cancer just affects everybody in some type of way. Um, so condolences to the Mutombo family. His son had a nice post on IG. I advise you go check that out. And if you're young and you just don't remember him, definitely go watch his highlights. He was a defensive stopper um, back in his day. Definitely one of my favorite players. I used to love watching in the NBA coming up. So, Dikembe Mutombo dead at 58 years old. Um, and it was shocking. That was shocking news. And then the Pete Rose thing came out a couple hours later. So, just a crazy day. Just even though they say sports, John Amos, James from Good Times. Um, he was the father on Coming to America. A lot of great iconic films. He was just he was really America's dad. Like, you know, he died. I think the same day or the next day or Tuesday. So been a lot of deaths as far as celebrity land. But it always make you just think about life. Like, nobody is gonna live forever. You just gotta um, treat life accordingly. You just never know when it's your time. So, um, just sad. It's always sad when anybody leaves their life. It don't matter if you're a celebrity or not. That's why I don't like the unnecessary deaths. You know what I'm talking about. So I'm not gonna go into a diatribe about that. But um, Dikembe, yeah, he was one of my favorite players. So it was sad to hear that he died. Um, and I'm sure the NBA and the Nuggets and the Hawks and the other teams are going to do things for Dikembe throughout the season. So definitely look out for that. But it's sad that he had to go so soon. Um, all right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the NFL as Week 5 starts tonight. But before we get into that, big news off the field. Davante Adams officially asked for a trade. I think that was on Monday too. I think a lot of stuff happened on Monday. Um, or it might have been Tuesday. Um, but he requested a trade finally for the Las Vegas Raiders. They already said he's not going to play this week. They say it's a hamstring injury, but we all know why. I think they prepared to get a trade together. They don't want to play and get hurt. So I think that's what's going on, on that aspect of it. Well, I guess why not? I guess the Raiders ain't going nowhere. They had a big win against the Ravens. The other week they won this week, so they even at 2-2. But they're not going too far. They're not going far. Um, it's just well, he came there expected to play with Derek Carr. So once they got rid of Derek Carr, he already was sort of, you know, not feeling the Raiders anymore. Then with the carousel quarterbacks, um, but I heard somebody they were saying that GMs around the league saying he lost his stepping on. I don't think so. I think he's still one of the elite receivers of the league. But as a receiver, you always need a quarterback. Only receiver I've ever seen that still excel without a great quarterback was DeAndre Hopkins, and now you see even now he's in a situation pretty similar to Devontae, and now he barely his name called. But those two guys are very talented. They just got to get to the right place. Um, People say Kansas City. I'd be shocked. The Raiders are not going to trade him directly to Kansas City. It's not going to happen. Now, if he goes somewhere else and then they trade him to Kansas City, or he wind up being a free agent and he go to Kansas City, they're not. I would be. It would be idiotic for the Raiders to trade him to Kansas. I don't think that's going to happen. So I think people need to don't even talk about that. He said the Jets. He said the Saints. Obvious reasons. He know Derek Carr from college and also the Raiders. And of course, he played with Aaron Rodgers most of his career. So those two make sense. But other than those two teams, I would say, I mean, if, best case scenario, of course, we said Kansas City, but like I said, that's not going to happen. Um, there's some people say Washington. I like that for Washington, but for him, he probably, like I said, Washington's still maybe a year away from competing. Even though they might make the playoffs this year, but they're not in the elite class yet. So maybe that's what he's thinking with Washington. Um, Honestly, Minnesota makes sense to me, even though they got a deep receiver core already. Minnesota's popping out my mind maybe because they're winning now, and I think to add him to Jefferson and Addison, give Sam Darnold as many weapons as he can. Then so some people think he's about to turn back into a pumpkin. I don't know about that, but as of right now, he's playing well. So to keep that trade moving, maybe Minnesota. Um, do you think about going back to Green Bay? That's another spot. Um, it's a lot of things. Somebody said the Chargers, but like I said, that's in the division, so they're not going to trade him directly to the Chargers. Now he might get there another way. But yeah, I guess the Jets. I mean, the Jets and the Saints make the most sense for him. Um, but like I said, even think about that. Yeah, Washington sounds nice. Somebody say Dallas might try to go. I just don't think Dallas gonna do it either. I just think Jerry, unless Jerry Jones had the right reason why he gets there, that's not gonna happen. Um, Philly needs only because of injuries, but Philly needs another receiver right now too, and they right there on competing. Let's stay in the AFC. I said we said the Jets, Buffalo. I heard somebody say Buffalo. That'd be interesting. I think how the Bills are. I think that'd be definitely an interesting place for him to go because I think him and Josh Allen can find a connection. Um, as a Ravens fan, I mean, I would like it, but we're really not a throwing offense. Yeah, we throw the ball, but there's going to be games that we just go ask him to block, and maybe he don't want to do that. So it depends on what he wants to do, but that'd be a good spot because we're in contention. Uh, there's a lot. I mean, really, any team could use him. Any team that's have any aspirations could use him. But I understand why he said the Jets and the Saints. I mean, those two teams makes very very much sense for him and familiarity. You don't have to. He's a veteran receiver. Like somebody was saying, you don't want to go and have to learn a whole new offense and all this other stuff. So, um, I think that makes sense for him. Um, but okay, let's look ahead now to Week 5. Um, Tonight, Tampa Bay Buccaneers 3-1 going against the 2-2 Atlanta Falcons in the NFC South. That'll be a huge game tonight. Atlanta is actually favorite in this game. But like I said, I'm real high on the Buccaneers. Yeah, I know they laid that egg against Denver. They really should be 4-0. Um, but I'm real high on them. I really think Baker's the real deal as far as you can win with him. Of course, he's not better than Mahomes. He's not better than name your quarterback, Josh Allen, whatever. He's not on that class, but he gets your job done. He's not afraid. So I think the Buccaneers go ahead and make a statement tonight. I think they win it. I'm gonna go 27-20. I don't like picking scores, but that's to be my score for that game tonight. So this is the first pick I got for the week. The rest of the games I'm just gonna go through real quick. Um, London game, Vikings undefeated with the Jets playing the Jets in London. That's a 9:30 kickoff. Um, like I said, I picked my game, so sorry to the rest of these games. But Minnesota, like I said, looks they almost blew that Green Bay game though. So you see the little chicken armor there, but the Jets still not on the same page on offense. Um, so I think the defense going to have to slow this game down. That'll be an interesting game early in the morning on Sunday. Ravens at Bengals. This is a big game for both teams to stay afloat in the AFC North. Excuse me. Bengals fairly won the game against Carolina last week, but can they carry that over? Ravens finally discovered a run game, the most complete game they played this year so far. So that's going to be a tough game for both teams. Colts at Jags. Jags are just, and to me, until further notice, Jags are just, even though they played better last week, um, I just don't like the way they look, even though they favored in this game. Colts, probably going to have to go to Joe Flacco, but which I think is not a bad thing. Joe, he's a veteran. Long as you don't get no press rush on him, he's going to be able to tear you apart. But the Jags, to me, um, maybe he's going to start the roll. We'll see. Dolphins and Patriots. Dolphins 1-3, so the Patriots are 1-3. Dolphins, of course, no Tua Tagovailoa. Um, New England, like I said, had a good first game against the Bengals, but really haven't really looked good since. They favored in this game by a point. Um, I don't know. That'll be a toss-up game as well. That's why I'm glad I got till Saturday to make a decision. Browns at Commanders. Browns, I feel the same way. Just got a dark cloud over right now. Commanders riding high. Um, I think this game, the Commanders might struggle just a little bit because now certain people give you expectations. They might be feeling themselves a little bit. Um, so I think this will be a close game, and then they might pull it out in the end. But like I said, you'll have my official pick on Saturday. This is probably the biggest game of the week. Bills at Texans. Stephon Diggs playing against his former team. Houston, like I said, Houston has been up and down all year. Bills coming off that big loss. This is going to be interesting game. Can't wait for this game. Buffalo is actually just a 1-point favorite in the game. Panthers at Bears. Panthers, of course, you know what mess they in. Bears barely getting by. Caleb Williams haven't looked great at all this season yet. Could this be the first game he does? We'll see. Bears are at home and a 4-point favorite. Raiders and Broncos. I just like the vibe of the Broncos better. But this is a big game. If any of these teams really want to do something this season. Broncos at home and they're a 2.5-point favorite. Cardinals at 49ers. I think the 49ers got their groove back. Cardinals, like I said, they're an exciting team to watch, but I think they just fall short on some levels. Niners are a 7-point favorite at home. Packers at Rams. Rams injuries. I think Jordan Love coming back. He looked great in the second half. I think that carries over. But we'll see. Rams at home, but they're a 3-point underdog. Seahawks hosted the New York Giants. I think the Seahawks bounce back. Giants are a mess right now as well. Seahawks are 6.5 favorite in that game. Sunday night football. Cowboys at Steelers. Steelers, of course, come off the loss, but I like what I see from them in the second half offensively. Cowboys just, like I said, really 2-2 tells a story. They've been just up and down all year. Pittsburgh is 2.5 favorite at home. And Monday Night Football, interesting game. The New Orleans Saints start off the season hot, and now 2-2. Chiefs are 4-0, barely getting by games, but finding ways to win. Let's see. Of course, the Rasheed Rice news still ain't official yet. But we should still hear something before this game Monday, what the severity of his injury is. Saints, like I said, is they really try to get Devontae or not? We'll see. Chiefs are 5.5 favorite at home. And join me Saturday. I'll have all my picks Of course, I already picked Tampa to win the night, but the rest of the picks for the week, I gotta look and see who's on the bye and all that stuff. So I have my picks ready. My overall skill, my overall win-loss record so far, I won 10 games last week, so I'm 35-30. Oh wait, I'm 35-29. 35-29 now. Um, yeah, yeah, 35-29. So that's my record for the season. And I always try to have a lock pick of the week, which I think I kind of know what that's going to be. And upset of the week, I gotta look at that. But I have all that Saturday. Just look on my computer wall right here on YouTube for the latest there. Um, so we about to wrap the show up. Uh, Final thoughts. Let's talk about let's talk a little college football. We got some big games this week. Let's take a look at a few of them. Um, of course we stay in the top 25, but we'll look at the rankings as well, the top 10 rankings as well. Michigan State, Oregon. That's a Big Ten game now because Oregon in the Big Ten. It's hard to keep up with this. UNLV, Syracuse, State 25. Syracuse unranked, but Syracuse a decent team. Penn State hosts UCLA. Penn State 7th ranked. SEC, Missouri number 9. Texas A&M 25. Texas A&M at home. That's a noon game. Louisville, SMU. Louisville is 22nd ranked in the country. Ohio State, Iowa. Ohio State number 3. Georgia dropped to 5th at the loss to Alabama. They face Auburn. That's going to be another tough game for them. Ole Miss coming off a loss. They go to South Carolina. Ole Miss dropped to 12. Indiana 5-0 against Northwestern. Indiana's 23rd. Alabama's now number 1 as they face Vanderbilt. That should be demolishing. Clemson at Florida State. Florida State, what happened to Florida State? At least somebody tell me what happened to them. Clemson's 15th. Boise State and Utah State. Boise State is 21. Tennessee, Arkansas. Tennessee number 4 in the country. Michigan at Washington. Big Ten matchup as well. Michigan is number 10. USC 11 at Minnesota. Iowa State hosted Baylor. Iowa State is 16th. Of course, Baylor coming off the loss to Colorado. Miami, number 8 against California. I think California's in the ACC as well now, so that's an ACC game. So, and just for because people might be running. Let's see who Colorado play. They still not ranked, so they're not on this list. I gotta change it. Let's see who they play. Let's see. Give me a second. Now the list got bigger because now you add all the games, even the unranked teams. Oh, I know how I could have did it. Yeah, because I skipped it. They might be off this week. So I don't see them here at all. But let me switch it to Big 12 because that's what they in now. Yeah, they must got an off week this week. So, but a lot of interesting games in college football. It's gotten a little bit more interesting with the conferences combining themselves, but it's just confusing. But like I said, give me my NFL all day. I'm gonna ride with my NFL football. So, all right. Channel update. Like I said, next week, I'll come on Thursday. It'll be afternoon. I'm gonna probably put it about 2 or 3 o'clock. So I come home, get myself together after work and stuff like that. So join me next week at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For the episode 275 of the blog. Of course, every Monday football hangover. It'll be the week 5 edition, so we'll look back on all the Sunday's games, the Thursday night game, and more. So, sorry. Join me there for the on Monday. So Monday all season long. And then, of course, Wednesdays I post my power rankings, and Saturdays I post my NFL picks for the week. So, um, picks will be on Saturday. So I still got a couple of days to go through these games and see what I'm going to do. Been up and down. Like I said, week one was good. Actually, week one was my best week, which I thought there would be. Week one is usually your worst week because the first couple of weeks usually your worst weeks because you try to figure out who these teams are. But um, weeks 2 and 3 it's kind of tough. So then I bounce back in week 4. So we'll see how week 5 goes. But I think Tampa starts with a win tonight, and you'll have the rest of my picks on Saturday. So look out for that. Um, as far as video games go, like I said, actually I'll probably try to do it once I finish this. Um, I've been doing using my phone to record on my Switch. I'm doing Super Mario Brothers, and I'm gonna do a couple other games. I've been playing Metroid lately. Super Metroid or the Super Nintendo on the Switch. That's been a fun game. So just let's look out for surprises here and there. Um, and I will post them here. I just wish they had the same system that PlayStation has. And like I said, I still want to get into PlayStation. I know I had a plan all set up, but the fans fell through, unfortunately. Um, so we just go to we'll figure some things out. I'm trying to get things together. Like I said, y'all been hanging in there. Just continue to hang in there with me, and we'll have more good content to come. So I appreciate you guys so much for just being patient and being here. Shout out to my man B. I know he probably couldn't be here. I know he got school now again. Shout out to my homegirl Cece Sierra. We used to work together. She's a big sports fan, so maybe she might watch the playthrough. I mean the playback. So of course she's from Baltimore, so she's a Warriors fan all day. So I ain't bothered her because the Warriors lost. So let her get her thoughts together. Um, but yeah, I just thank you guys so much. Like I said, I just went out telling continue to draw. We had 308. The highest we got was the 309. I think we get the 310. If we did get the 310, it was only for a day or two. Then it went back down to 309. Now we had 308. But of course the goal is 500. And I'm gonna set it. Hopefully by the first of the year we be there, and hopefully things will be better by then. Um, but thank you guys so much. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. We got an hour in. I knew it would be long because we had a lot to talk about today. Then again, sorry about the deaths of Pete Rose and Dikemde Mutombo this week. If you're a sports fan, those two losses really hurt the sports world. So I wanted to get my perspective. I'm glad I was able to. Um, just thank everybody. Thank you guys. Thank my YouTube family. Thank you all. Shout out to my man Caper. Hope you watch it, bro. Your Bears. Hopefully your Bears do better. But thank you for being there as well. He's been a consistent subscriber. And to the rest of my YouTube family, like I said, thank you so much to all of you who support the channel. So stay tuned. I put out some stuff today. Um, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Troy West. Episode 274 is in the books. I see you next Thursday. And I see you Monday. Monday we got this NFL football hangover. Monday football hangover. Of course, we do every Monday. But that's not a live show. But I might try to do it as a premiere so it can be a live chat. I might try to do it that way this week. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Troy West saying thank you. Peace and love always. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much.